What else we got here? Oh, Shipwreck.
Yes, I've been messing around with the beta.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, we talked about the Dreamcade Replay a few episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just that it was a thing that exists. And yeah, they sent me a beta hardware for it. Like, so I've been playing around with it for the last few days. They launched their Kickstarter. They were on a show called Steve Harvey's Thunderdome, which is an actual TV show on ABC. If you're not familiar with Steve Harvey's Thunderdome,
I am not.
okay. It is basically Steve Harvey's out there doing the Steve Harvey thing, looking at the camera, making funny faces.
I just picture Kenan Thompson.
Okay, yes, it could have been him as well. And then there's 3 rounds. The first round, there's 2 different like Kickstarter people, and they're like, we would like $10,000 for our Kickstarter, and they explain what their Kickstarter is. It's not called Kickstarter on there. It's just like whatever.
Right. Crowdfunding.
Yeah, crowdfunding. But ABC is footing the bill for this portion, I guess. And then the audience, like the audience, in-studio audience, has their tablets and they vote for which one they think should get the $10,000. And then the 2 companies or people or whatever stand up there while different amounts show up, and you can either like cash out with that amount, like you could take like $2,000 and go home with the $2,000, or not cash out and hope that the audience picks you. And so they have a $10,000 round, maybe a $50,000 round, and then the last round, which Dreamcade Replay was on, was a $100,000 round, and they beat out a lady that had some device for yarn balls. It was like to
yarn balls, huh?
Yeah, to keep your yarn from being messy.
It's a huge problem in society today.
Yeah. So good for them though. They won $100,000 for this. But the crazy thing is, like, I'm playing with this beta, and what this thing is it's like so many of these other devices. It's an emulator box. You can play all the old systems on it, similar to a Retro Pi, which we both have, Cheapy, or Raspberry Pi, whatever you want to call it. The Retro Pi is the GUI that does everything. Right. So the Dreamcade Replay is running on top of a little PC, though. This thing is running Windows 10 in the background.
Huh.
And what I like so far about it, like, I'm not going to compare it to, like, say, my modded consoles that are expensive to mod and run through a FrameMeister and like it's the real deal that you're playing. This is another emulator machine. It's running familiar emulators. If you go and look in the background, it's running SNES 9X, and running like Nestopia, like common emulators that are out there, and MAME. But the interesting thing about this one is that you simply, it has a power button, which is an issue I have with the Raspberry Pi, is that it's difficult, at least mine is, to turn on and off. I basically have to unplug it. This has a power button on it. You turn it on, it boots up straight into their Dreamcade Replay front end. And all of the emulators are preloaded on there. So you're not hunting down emulators. And it comes with, I want to say 100 like arcade games or Atari games that are licensed on there to begin with. And then to get other games on there, which this is a big improvement over the RetroPie for me as well. You just like select like you select the NES, and then you hit a button. There's 2 buttons in the current GUI once you select NES. If you have no games like loaded yet, and one of them is either add a game or stream a game, and both options take you to the Internet Archive, and then you just use the on-screen keyboard, which is also an advantage of this is that I have not had to go like plug in a USB keyboard to set this thing up. I have not had to go to another PC or device to like transfer files to it or anything. You just use your controller, which I plugged in a USB Xbox 360 controller is what I've been using mostly. They shipped a controller that is going to be similar to their final controller option, but I didn't really like it. It's a wireless controller, like 2.4 gigahertz wireless, but it's kind of those like stiff, sticky buttons. It's like a 360 controller, but like not. Right. It just doesn't feel great to me. So I was using a 360 controller. So you just use that to type in like super and set search, and then it like brings up a menu of all of the games that it finds that are super, that have super in the title. And then you just click a download link and it downloads, and you close out of that window, and now it's in your library.
How is that legal?
It is on Internet Archive. I don't know the legality. I've only been downloading games that I own. But it's super.
Yeah, but you own everything.
Right. Even on MAME, I only downloaded Donkey Kong.
Right. You actually own the cabinet.
Right, actually in the cabinet. And I realize that's
pretty convenient sounding.
That's still a gray area because you should be like ripping it from my actual board and games and everything. But
I'm not going to call the police on you.
Realistically, where we're at in 2017 is all of these ROMs are on the internet.
Yep.
So it's just like, it doesn't take a lot of work on your part to get this thing going, which is a huge advantage for this.
Yeah.
It's pretty speedy. I think it's 2.2 gigahertz in there. So it's a lot faster than what the like Raspberry Pi stuff is running. It's good. I think I backed their Kickstarter. I was impressed enough that I'm like, I kind of want the final product of this.
Huh.
It's $99, which I think is a steal for what it is. If I'm just looking at the specs and what it's capable of. It has Wi-Fi built in. It's got Bluetooth built in. It's pretty good. Like, as far as emulation quality, it's exactly the same as all the other emulators because it's running those same emulators. It's not easy to currently with the current GUI, which they said that they're going to update this and everything still, because this isn't coming out. I think their goal is end of the year for the Kickstarter stuff. So currently you can't like change your visual options, like different, like scan lines or your different filters on there. And you could go in and tweak stuff because it's running Windows 10 in the background. So at least on the hardware that I have, you could go in there and tweak stuff if you really wanted to. But so currently it just has whatever emulators they're running with, but they're the standard emulators. I don't know. It plays. It's also got like Netflix and stuff on there too, because it's a Windows 10 PC. It's all built into their GUI, so it seems pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds like you really like it. Sounds like you're into it.
Yeah, I am. It's just so easy. Like the other stuff, the RetroPie stuff, it works great. It is a pain to load stuff on there.
It sounds like this is like a really good deal too.
Yeah. Like I looked up what's under the hood in this thing, and it's going to vary somewhat from the final product, but it's $150 alone for the hardware that I'm running.
Yep.
In this beta.
Yeah. Cool. I think, a lot of people were interested in hearing what we thought about it, and I don't think they were expecting that you actually
And
had
they're
one.
not interested anymore.
And it does the save states and all that stuff too. Like everything that you think that it would do, it does, or they're going to have in there. As long as it doesn't get shut down, right?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Cool. All right. Cool. That's the Dreamcade Replay.
Mm-hmm.